What would you do if you found out that your family was killed in a home invasion? How would you get revenge? Keep watching to see one man's story. Welcome to our channel. Today we will be talking about a 2019 crime, drama, and thriller film called Law-Abiding Citizen. Clyde enjoys creating. His kid has imitated him by constructing a bracelet for him, and she is currently working on one for mommy. Clyde's wife approaches him and asks him to open the door. He is knocked down and two bandits enter the house as a result. Clyde is forced to see his wife's rape and death, and when his small daughter arrives, she is horrified. Nick, a career-minded prosecutor, analyzes the Clyde case with a colleague. Nick meets with Clyde, who delivers him notes that he believes may aid with the investigation. Nick puts the notes aside and explains to Darby that he has refused to testify against Rupert, who will be condemned to death as a result of his evidence. Darby faces a maximum penalty of 5 years in jail. The entire episode was staged in the courtroom as if Rupert was the major aggressor. Nick stands at a safe distance, stunned by the unfairness of it all. Nick gets home to his wife Kelly, and to calm his tensions, he talks to his daughter in his wife's belly. It's been 10 years. Nick's daughter has grown up, yet he is just as busy as he has always been. He has to miss his daughter's school recital once again. Today is Rupert's fatal injection execution date. Rupert's final words are that he was not responsible for Clyde's family's death. They receive a bottle with the words "You can't fight fate" written on it. Nick understands this term, and the cops investigate Darby's movements. Darby receives a call. From all sides, he sees officers approaching him. Darby runs outside and fires a couple rounds at passing police cars. He receives another phone informing him that if he wants to avoid going to prison, he must surrender his gun and proceed to the abandoned factory. Darby follows instructions. Fortunately, he sees police sleeping in his car on the way there. He takes his weapon and orders him to drive. Darby leads him out and orders him to crawl. But first, he takes a phone call and discovers that his rescuer was none other than Clyde himself. Darby tries to shoot him, but it's a trap gun, so he's shot with a paralyzing drug instead, but he's still awake. Clyde informs him that he knows what it's like to be powerless, just like he did 10 years ago, before starting the torture. Nick and Sarah talk about lethal injection tampering. Darby, Nick believes, had nothing to do with it because he lacks the mental capacity to pull it off. Sarah knows that Clyde is the only one with a purpose. The policemen are on their way to Clyde's residence, where he is peacefully undressing when the sirens sound. They form a ring around his house. He's arrested, and as he walks to his car, he gives Nick a sinister glare. They have Clyde shackled in a jail interrogation room, but no proof against him exists, so they can only hope for a confession. Clyde admits, in a roundabout way, that he wanted to kill Darby and Rupert. Nick pleads with the judge to refuse Clyde's bail. He claims that Nick has no proof to keep him in arrest without bail. When Nick returns, Sarah informs him that Bill has been absent for 3 days. Clyde addresses Nick in front of the camera, indicating that if he wants Bill alive, he must meet his conditions tomorrow. Clyde listens to his iPod and eats the steak with his boyfriend, who had just threatened him, while Nick hurries to a plane and they fly to the location. They become excellent friends immediately, but it's all a ruse by Clyde, who was one of the steaks T-boned. He cranks up the music and hands the remote over to his cellmate to keep him occupied while he stabs him in the neck. The warden is enraged as the guards arrive at Clyde's cell. Bill was discovered buried wearing an oxygen mask by Nick. He's no longer alive. From the prison, it took them 15 minutes to get there. Nick receives a message from Sarah informing him that Clyde has killed his cellmate and that the warden has ordered him to be placed in solitary. Nick sends the DA staff home to rest after they stay till 6 a.m. The bombs attached to the automobiles explode as Sarah starts her car, killing everyone in the car, including Sarah. Nick is certain that someone is assisting Clyde because he is still imprisoned. 6 officers have been slain in the line of duty. Nick and Jonas meet with the mayor, who is astonished as to how one arrested man can cause so much trouble. The 2 security guards are appointed by her. Nick takes his family on a vacation to a safe location. There were no credit cards, cell phones, or anything else that could reveal their position. When Nick returns home, he sees a framed newspaper story, indicating that someone has been inside his home. Clyde is let out for a walk and is hailed by Nick, and the detective when he returns to the prison. Nick beats Clyde out of rage, and Clyde just responds by saying that it's good that he's upset since he's only warming up. Nick stops the detective from drawing his weapon. Nick will witness something biblical, according to Clyde. Jones believes they brought this on themselves during Sarah's death, but Nick still believes they did the right thing, though he is beginning to doubt himself. A man in Blackguard is in control of a military drone armed with a machine gun and a rocket launcher as they drive away. He disables the vehicles, bringing them to a halt. Jonah's car is littered with anti-tank rounds, so he blows it up to ensure Jonah's death. Nick can't believe he let this go on for so long, says the mayor. She wants to fire him, but she installs him as the new district attorney to relieve media pressure. The mayor of Philadelphia has issued an emergency order that has shut down the entire city. No one is permitted to walk around freely. A message from Sarah's contact arrives in Nick's inbox. It has to do with Clyde's purchase of real estate. He researches all of the properties that have been sold in Philadelphia in the last 10 years and analyzes the prices. Clyde has a tiny garage not far from the prison, Nick discovers. He and the detective meet in the garage to inspect it. They discover a gaping hole in the floor. Clyde created a tunnel that runs right beneath the prison. Clyde made his way into each and every room. That's why he murdered his cellmate. It was always his goal. The investigator looks for Clyde in his cell, but he isn't there. Clyde blows up a napalm bomb in order to assassinate the mayor, who is about to hold a security meeting. Soon later, Nick and the detective arrive. They must go silently as a precaution, so as not to notify Clyde that they are following him. On the 5th floor, directly below the conference room, they spot Clyde's cart. They discover a suitcase that they believe contains an explosive. The bomb squad member opens the bag and declares that the explosive is cell phone activated and might go off at any time. When some of the agents sent to monitor Clyde's warehouse see him pull up, they alert Nick. Clyde returns to his subterranean equipment and observes as the session begins. He grabs his phone and makes his way to his cell. Clyde gets startled by Nick in his cell. He pulls out a gun and demands that Clyde do the right thing and give him a way out. Clyde inquires if he is coming to finalize a deal. Clyde apologizes and calls the phone number. As the investigator closes his tunnel door, Nick walks away and adds that by the rest of his life he meant roughly 25 seconds. Nick hid the bomb-laden bag beneath Clyde's bed. Before his cell erupts into flames and goes up, he takes one last look at his daughter's bracelet. It's finally over. Thank you for watching. See you in another video here on MOVIEch.